And welcome, guys, to a new episode of Morpheus, the best demonology warlock, of course. I'm kidding. In this guide, I will be covering how to play as Demolock in 5.3, the burst macro, the gems, everything, talent stuff, and some tactics or tips in arena to become high rated. Yesterday I went 1740 rating with the healer, and he doesn't have his tyrannical weapon even. So it went pretty good, and I have a different tactic now because I need to one-shot people. One-shotting people is really important if you go healer Demolock. Demolock is all about the one-shot because Demolock doesn't have sustainable damage, so you have to one-shot people. And this tactic that I use now works really well. Um, but to begin, I will be covering the talents first. So talents. Okay, specialization, demonology, of course. Dark regeneration, mortal core, because it doesn't DR with any other thing except psychic scream. This is also a viable option because of its lower cooldown and it's just nice. But this has a heal, so I prefer this one. Dark bargain, really nice. You are simply immortal. This one is better if you have a pet, but since I don't use a pet, I prefer this one because if you have 50% health and you use this one, you will have a very small shield. Okay, inbound will. This is a must, I think. It costs a lot, but if you need to land off a kill, it's really handy. And I don't like this, and this can be, an option, but inbound will is like a second trinket, and I just like it. Grimoire of Sacrifice. This is something I discovered lately. I did a lot of tests with all the grimoires to burst someone down, and for bursting, I thought that this was the best, but I use it on cooldown, so I resummon my pet all the time and use this as a burst. Um, and it just works really well if I need to land off a kill. This also increases my Imp Swarm damage, which is like also very very powerful. So Metamorphosis Fury, because then if I do this, the things around it will also get the dot. Um, and I can get people out of stealth with this really easy, so that's why you use this. Glyphs, demon hunting for tanking. In RPGs, locks nowadays can tank because normal tanks get a debuff on them for carrying the flag and we don't, so we will be a very viable option for tanking. Believe me, you will see a lot of demo locks in RPG tanking, or tanking, yeah, carrying the flag, or tanking, same thing, I think. Nah, not really. Anyways, Glyph, Healthstone, and Imp Swarm, those are obvious, I think. And these are just minor glyphs. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Um, so, I explained this earlier already, but I will explain it again. This is my macro. It's a call sequence macro. You can look it up on internet. I did make this myself, but maybe someone else did, so I'm doing it right now. It applies Corruption, Curse of Elements, Hand of Gul'dan, and Doom. And that's it. And it will go out of Metamorphosis again. And this will do a lot of damage already. And I just use this for building up Demonic Fury and having dots on the target. And when I switch, it will reset, so I can do it again. Corruption, Hand of Gul'dan, Doom, and that's it. Now, I do use my pet. I use Fell Hunter for double spell lock. So what I do, I have this macro for silence. I do the silence, then I sacrifice the pet, I burst, and I silence again, because the silence is resetting cooldown when you sacrifice your pet, which is really nice. So that's my dot macro. I can show it here, but I have shown it in other guides already, so you can copy this. I'm not going over it again. I can show you my burst macro though, which is here. So what it does: Lifeblood, Grimoire of Sacrifice, Unending Resolve, Blood Fury, Dark Soul Knowledge. Still my Malevolent trinket, although everything else is already Tyrannical, but this one is upgraded, so it's not big of a difference. Imp Swarm and Metamorphosis. Yeah, and this should actually have a exclamation mark in front of it, so you don't go out of Metamorphosis when you use this. So yeah, the way how to burst is probably the next step to be covering. Wait, first gems. Intellect and mastery, those are the main important things, you know, the really the important things to stack for. Okay, that's it. Yeah, so bursting, I just apply, oh fuck, I just apply corruption, do some fell flames, and I think it's better to pop Imp Swarm before you burst, because then they will already cast some firebolts or whatever they cast, you know, and then I will go into burst, pop Hand of Chaos Wave 2 times, and then just spam Touch of Chaos, which is right here. And actually I switched target apparently, but it doesn't matter now for the video. Okay, I spam this till I have another Chaos Wave. And I continue with Touch of Chaos. And normally this gets the player down really fast. In Arena, I hit Chaos Wave 130k if it crits. And if it doesn't crit, it's only 60k or something. But Touch of Chaos is a spammable 40k non-crit and crits even 90k or something. So it's pretty good. That's the burst. It's really simple. Apply dots. I just Hand of Gul'dan and Chaos Wave. I mean that's the same thing basically, but 2 Chaos Waves and then just Touch of Chaos. It's really simple. And don't forget to double silence. Okay, so you have your focus and you silence the healer with this macro. If the healer is on focus, of course, then burst, silence him again, and in combination with your healer into twos, for example, you have to time the CC correctly and you can burst someone down really fast. So, any tips about Arena and how to play? Well, there are some things you need to be good at to win an Arena, I would say. The first thing is you need to reset Arena. So, you need to burst properly. Try to get them down fast. You know, have a lot of pressure on the other targets so they don't have time to free cast or get your healer down. So you need to be fast, you need to burst. And when it fails, you have 2 minutes to survive and burst again. That can be an option. But you can also wait with bursting for like 10-20 seconds. It depends on what class you will face. Then burst and force enemy cooldowns. Okay, because that's the second point for winning arenas. It's forcing enemy cooldowns. You have to force enemy cooldowns before you will do yours. Okay, so if you have a Boomy against you, make sure he uses beam before you burst. If you have a Shadow Priest, you know, make sure he doesn't have trinkets and you know, dispersion anymore, preferably at least. And if you have mage against you, make sure he has only 1 or 0 ice blocks, etc, etc. You know, you have to make sure of that, and then you will win. If they have full cooldowns, they can counter your burst probably, and that sucks. So, like I said, first thing, resetting an arena. Second thing, forcing enemy cooldowns. Third thing, timing CC, very, very good. You have to practice a lot with your healer in 2s or with your one other DPS and a healer in 3s or whatever. And just make sure you can time CC really, really good. And also make sure you are fighting in a comp which doesn't have the same kind of CC. So, you know, make sure that, for example, me, I have Fierce and he has Hacks. That's really nice. Warrior has Stun, so you can team up with a Warrior or a Mage maybe in 3s. Make sure there are different types of CC in your team, and that's very good. Anything else? Well, it's maybe not a very um, you know, big guide or whatever, but I think this covers the basics of how to play Demolock in 5.3. I've gave you some tips on what to be good at in Arena in order to win, and you know how to burst now. You know how to gem talents. I think it's pretty clear. Demo Warlock is not about sustainable DPS. It doesn't have any. It's not. It's kind of about dots, applying a bit of dots at least, but it's all about the burst and survivability And you know, fearing something that's also really important is when they go on your healer, peel off. Okay, knock people down with your knockback, carrion, swarm. Fear them as much as possible, silence them, and use Mortal Coil in order to save your healer. That's also very important. Also use your Demonic Gateway at all times and Demonic Circle, your teleport, because that will also be a lifesaver most of the time. Also use Banish when the lock has a pet or you're facing a lock. Also really nice. The basic rotation is really simple. But the thing is timing CC. That's, I think, the hardest thing for demonology. Anyways, see you later. Hope this is useful. Peace off.